Hi there, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. This is the start of another project. This is the start of a repair-restoration of the oldest radio that will have appeared on this channel to date. I normally deal with sort of 50s and early 60s as far as tube radios are concerned. This one is a little bit older than that. This one is from 1937. It is a Philips. It's a 461A. I do have a lot of data here. I've actually got better data on the computer that I managed to find. But it is 85 years old. 1937, 85 years old. And the reason I've been itching to start this project is that apparently it works. And I looked at the back of this thing and I'm shocked that it works. But what I'll be doing, probably stupidly, is I'm going to try it. I'm going to bring it up with the dim bulb tester, and I'm going to use the Variac to slowly raise the voltage, and I'm going to check whether it actually works, because apparently it works. However, when I show you the back of this thing, you'll understand why this needs some work, and it needs it pretty urgently. A lot of the wiring is dried out, and there's stuff flying around without insulation, but which is scary as hell. But anyway, one of the reasons I want to test this really is because I don't normally work with this vintage of radio. So the tubes, the valves this thing's got in, I have no stock of them. When I have a problem with one of the other ones, the Grundichs, the Loopters, the Nord Mendes from the 50s, it's not a problem because they usually use practically the same tube lineup. You know, it's an ECH81 as a mixer oscillator, an EF89 as the IF amplifier, then you've got the EL84, you sometimes use a 12X7, preamp or whatever. This thing is different. It's got tubes that I've never worked with before, so if one of these is bad, I'm going to have to order it. It's going to take some time, so I want to get this thing kick-started. Let me show you up close what we're talking about. Remember, this lady needs respect. She's 85 years old, okay? 85 years old. That's pretty respectable. And here she is. This one is it's a Bakelite set, so it makes restoring the cabinet a little bit easier for me. The dial is in perfect condition, but it's actually plastic, so I'm not too worried about this thing breaking on me. I've got a glare going on there, but this thing has got 3 bands. Looks like shortwave, long wave, and medium wave at the top there. The body is in very, very good shape. Just needs a bit of polishing. So that shouldn't be a problem. It's got one control, one knob on the side there, 2 on the front, and another one on the right side. So I would presume you'd have, what would that be, on-off switch on the left there. You'd probably have volume on the left as well. That would be the tuning. And then on the right-hand side, maybe, station select or band select. This grill cloth is impeccable. Maybe a little bit dirty, but that will come out nicely. I can't see any fault with the body of this thing. I keep thinking of an 85-year-old person. Don't think you'd be able to say the same thing about that, but this one's got a perfect body. No wrinkles. But I want to show you the back. That's where it gets really interesting. This is the first time that I've seen one of these chassis. Now, it actually comes in 3 sections. You've got the power supply in the middle here. It's all connected to a bottom base. They all come out together, thankfully. But it's 3 sections, 3 separate sort of chassis sections. The power supply here. You've got the the audio amplification and preamplification over there. And you've got the radio, the front end, I think, is over here. I'm not even sure where the IFs are. Probably here. I see one. What is that? 2 tubes? 1 tube. That'll be the rectifier tube. It's got the little lamp on there. As I said, I don't know what state this is in. I can see the dial cord is broken here. There's a section of dial cord which is metallic floating around here. This is a wire. That's always a bit scary when he tells me that this thing has been on. This thing can short things out. And this has got one of those supply sockets that connects to the back panel. So when you pull the back panel out, this thing comes out and you can't have power in here. Obviously, this has been bypassed by me in preparation for this. There is a voltage selector. It's set to 245 volts, which is pretty good. I see inside here, there's just one big transformer. But the wiring is in terrible condition. Let me show you up close. Look at the state of that wire. It's just sort of bare. A lot of it is bare. I think all the wire is going to have to be changed on this thing. A lot more bare wire over there, cracking wire. This is scary, man. Now the tuning, there's the tuning condensers, that big monster over here. And then there's a massive speaker over there. Output transformer over there. Okay. These tubes, I have no idea. I don't have enough experience with this to know whether they are original. I would think not. I mean, after 85 years, even the tubes would have to be, at least the tubes would have to be replaced. But they are Philips milliwatt tubes. This is an AF3, the bottom one. So who knows? Who knows? Those are also Philips tubes. Now, what I do know is that Philips did have quite a good, still does have, but it did have quite an active and pretty good service facility in Madeira. It was one of the brands that was very well sold over here. And so things like that, the service information was actually obtained locally by the owner some time ago. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to make sure that none of these wires are actually touching. I'm going to make sure that the dial cord, this wire dial cord, is not touching anything. I'm going to bring it up very, very, very carefully, but I want to see if this works. I mean, wouldn't you? On a bad day, you've got to do crazy stuff. All right, I've had a look at the back. I don't see anything obviously shorted, but this will certainly tell us soon enough. This is what we have here. I've got 110 or 100 volts on here. Now this is, we're living in a 230 volt area, so it's set for 245. So we're less than half. I've got one 40 watt bulb on the dim bulb tester. That's a 40 watt bulb. So if that is a direct short in there, we will get very, very little current being able to flow through there. So one bulb is ready. I've got that off. The limit, it's on limit. I'm just checking everything. I don't want any mishaps. We're not going to be even looking at the radio. I've got the switches on and the volume is on max. We're going to look at this, see what we're getting coming through. So I'm going to switch it on now. It's drawing 80 milliamps. I'm sort of keeping my eye on there. There's no shorts. Obviously, I can't hear anything, and the light bulb is not on. Maybe it's blown. I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm slowly going to bring this up. It's actually gone down in current, 70 milliamps. (150 volts), 80 milliamps. I don't see. Oh, I do see some glow from the tubes. I don't want to put my face in it. Okay, carry on. Let's see. Oh, holy mackerel. I don't believe this. Let me show you. Hang on. This thing is receiving medium wave, and it's actually at a station, which is strange because there's no tuning possible. I have to tune it like this. I've got to be careful with this wire. It receives very well. That's at the end. I cannot believe this. I'm going to put the voltage up. I'm going to leave the single bulb in there. It's up to 220. Let's leave it at 220. It's drawing 120 milliamps. I can hear it. I think it's coming through. This thing is working on medium wave. Let me select another band. I think this is the band switch. I don't know which way. It's gone to one end. I'm not sure what I've got now. That might be shortwave. Let me try the other one. This is at the end. I don't believe this. This is long wave. This is the Porto Santo beacon. I don't believe this. This is 338 kilohertz. This is Radio RT Island, I'm sure, 252 kilohertz. Listen to that.
الذي أفقد إذا صح أن نقول هذه العبارة جمال بالماضي ربما بعض التوازن.
I'm going to switch this off. I'm not pushing my luck. Well, wouldn't you know? I am gobsmacked. I really am. He's right. It does work. I can't believe this thing is still working, is working in the state that it's in. Okay, that's all switched off. I'm not taking any more chances. This wire was floating around. Whoa. Okay. All right, sometimes you get a good surprise. Now, this is a Philips, so something has to be a little complicated. And indeed, I believe it is. Let me get rid of this so I don't get tempted again. Getting this thing out is a little bit tricky. And even getting the knobs out. These knobs, this one is loose, but as you can probably see, it's got a knob there, a screw on there, the grub screw on there, which is strange because this goes right in, and you think, well, how the hell are you going to get that out? Well, apparently there's some holes at the bottom. There are holes on the bottom of the cabinet that you unscrew those grubs from, and also these over here have got, you've got to put a screwdriver through there and catch it on the inside. And the same with the one on this side. There's another hole over there. The way I found that out is I found, by chance, a radio that looked very similar to this on a channel called Don's Old Radio Shed. Now, I believe he's from Australia. I've seen quite a few of his videos. He does, he does more this generation than I do. And I found one. His is the Model 1052, Model 1052. And it is different. It's from 1939, I believe. But it looked very, very similar to this one. In fact, the front looks almost identical to this one. So I figured, okay, let me see how he does it. And he went through all the hassles of trying to figure out how to remove this and also how to put the dial string back, which looked like quite a challenge. But it makes it a lot easier for me now to do it because I can refer to his videos. And this is the thing I got to say about this hobby. This is no competition. This is a collaboration that we have here. The whole community is actually amazingly close. I don't know Don. I haven't spoken to him. But people like Dave Tipton, I've spoken to him personally and, on the phone anyway. And we all sort of share ideas and information and, we learn from each other and we throw things off at each other. It's a great idea. It's a great way to work. The proof of the whole community is precisely what I said in the last video, which is, I just asked for some help with IVE transformers and I had about 4, 5, 6 people offering to send me some. I think it's great. I like the spirit of this community. So in the spirit of this community, I learned from Don, and I now think it's going to be quite easy to take this out. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to put this on my contraption, that contraption that I use to keep these radios flexible and easy to work on. But if this is anything like his, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. I don't think I heard him swearing, but I'm sure he cut those out. This is Don I'm talking about. So let me get onto that. Watch his video, take this thing out and see what we're facing inside here. I'm looking forward to seeing what's underneath there. It should be quite fun. All right, folks. I must admit this was cheating because I've been looking at Don's video again. What did I do? Exactly the same as he did. I removed 2 screws over here that hold the chassis sections to the Bakelite. I removed 2 clamps down here, and I actually loosened the speakers and just bent or connected the clamps to the right, so it's free. This thing didn't even have 2 other screws that his has on the baseboard. And now, if I try to push this out. It's coming out. Obviously, I don't have the problem with the dial cord because I've got no dial cord connected. But this thing seems to be something stuck here. Something is stuck. What is it? What is it? Oh, I see. There was a ground wire over here, which is the one that was desoldered from the back here. And there is, there's the actual, what is that? That's what moves something stuck up here, which I need to remove. It's the pointer goodie, the pointer thingy. There's no pointer, there's no dial pointer at all. And then this thing seems to be a band indicator. Come on, Don, you didn't have that on yours. Oh, God. Oh, God. How do I move that? How do I remove that? I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get that out of there. I may have to dismantle this whole thing. It's a band indicator over here on the left. And here we have the cabinet. There's been a lot of tearing of that is a cover with a metal foil that's fairly easily repairable. Somebody obviously had a problem getting it out because they didn't solder the ground lug or the ground wire back. The front faceplate from the underside looks perfect. That's the contraption there where the band selector indicator was connected. It's just the spring that had to come out. That's been torn as well with no ground. That guy over there, that screw there is actually supposed to hold the tuning condenser up, and it's The grommet just dried straight through. But otherwise, this looks fine. It's got nothing broken on the Bakelite. So this thing is completely restorable. Perfect. Now for the scary bit. This we've seen, right? Let's have a look. Huh. Yeah. It's not as inaccessible as I thought it would be. You can actually get to each section from here. The harnessing that connects the sections of the chassis together go through here. They're all pretty dried, very dried. Our speaker, I don't know what's underneath the cloth, but this section is complete. I wonder if the body's complete underneath. We'll have to see. But other than that, this is all very accessible. Let's have a closer look. I guess this is as expected. You've got some of those big bad capacitors here, the Phillips caps, those big tile ones over there. Everything is pretty dirty, but that doesn't worry me. What worries me is that someone's definitely been in here. Hey, but it's working. That's the important thing. These caps will all probably have to go. I have to be very careful with this. What I'm going to have to do is, do a small section, test it, because this is working. And I know that it's working on the middle position. Ooh, these switches are stiff. The middle position is medium wave. So there's our band selector. Ooh, I can't really identify much here. The tubes are going through here. There are some filter caps over here. Some of these are the IF transformers. That's an IF transformer. That's an IF transformer. Because I can see these sort of tunable capacitors over here. These are the ones that you have to sort of unwind some of the coil if you have to. And the reason I think quite a bit has been done here, unless this was done originally, maybe someone can tell me. Look at this. You see all these squigglies? I don't think they did this at the factory. I don't know. I might be completely wrong. But they've got them there. So this was replaced. That was possibly replaced. It's connected to ground. They've got these squigglies everywhere. They look, maybe that's how they built it. I don't know. I really don't know, but they're everywhere. There's one here. They are there. There's more down there. They seem to be just about everywhere. This is really strange. There. It's almost like I want to ask where they aren't. But as I said, it's working. This wire, that one seems to be okay, but there's some wire here. This wire here is pretty crispy. Some of that seems like it's, I don't know, some of it's okay, some of it's very, very crispy. It comes from that harness. That is actually shielded. Whoa, some more of these caps. That's a big bugger over there. First thing I'm going to have to do is just clean this down because you can hardly see what's going on here. Ooh, it's going to be fun. The problem being the wire. This wire is completely crackly. If I push it, it'll crack, break, and become open or bare. Here's some more of the, where did I see it? More squigglies. There's one there. I don't think all those capacitors were changed. I think maybe that's just the way they built them. This thing seems to be cracked, that capacitor. These are, I believe, ceramics, and they normally hold out quite well, but I'm afraid, these wires are damn close to where they shouldn't be. There's a lot of these small, very small, sort of uncoilable caps. These are easy to identify and replace. Those other ones, I'm not so sure. And as I said, all this wire scares me. Well, yeah, okay. I now know what I have to do, don't I? Just want to see, what is this A and B? What is this on this side? There are two sockets over there, two pairs, and that seems to be a speaker. The top one and the bottom one is the gramophone. Okay, so this has a phono input over here. Other than that, on the other side, we've just got the antennas. But it does have gramophone input. Those are the guys over there. And external speaker will be over here. There'll be probably a break. So when you push it in, it breaks the contact to the internal speaker. There's a very cracked tar capacitor at the top there. I don't recall hearing much hum when this thing was playing. I was so surprised that I was hearing anything that I didn't really listen out for it. These filter caps will probably be history. They'll need to be replaced. Well, what I'm going to do is my usual. I'm going to take it one step at a time. Power supply. It seems that the power supply it's got very little on here. Let's have a look inside there. That's got a very cracked capacitor over there. Look at all this bare wire. That bare wire worries me. Right on the transformer. That's all bare. This stuff is bare. And it's the transformer output wires or input wires. I'm not sure. Primary or secondary. I'm not sure. I haven't worked on something this old ever. So I have to be, there's nothing special about it, but you just got to be careful. This capacitor here, this cracked one, that one there, that will probably be what we normally now call the death cap, because it's probably either the input of the rectifier or the output of the rectifier. I'll have to check the schematic. But that means that that has to come out, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. This will all have to be dismantled. I'll have to see if Don had to take his out. I can't remember anymore. There aren't any major components on here. Oh, I'll be able to get to that. That's one capacitor over there that I can see. Sort of. Well, yeah. Should be fun. Now that I know what I'm facing, I've got nothing else to do but get to it. And I'm going to echo Don's words. Philips engineers, what did they come up with? I mean, think about it. You've got a pretty straightforward 3-band radio. They're all AM bands, right? And some of these at the same era, you have those American 5s, where you open the bottom, and I mean, normally those are just medium wave, but you open the bottom and you've got about half a dozen components and it's done. And instead, look at this. Yeah, guys, I think in Europe, engineers were paid by the number of components they could use to make something work. I love it. It's completely different to what you see in... actually, just as a side note, when I first started looking at or starting to restore radios, I used to look at some of those American channels, some YouTubers who've done a lot of restoration on American radios and amplifiers, Uncle Doug and All American 5 and all those guys. And I really am thankful for everything I learned from them. I still have a lot to learn from them, but they were very, very good in the way they explained it. And as I said, I was used to seeing this age of radio being restored, and it always looks a lot simpler than this. But yeah, that's how you progress. Take on more challenges. Right, guys, I'm going to leave this for now, leave you for now. I've got lots of work to do. And I'm going to get on to replacing capacitors and wiring. The wiring is the part that concerns me most because there's a lot of it. And when I've got some progress to report, I'll get back to you. All right, hope you've enjoyed that. I have. It scared the hell out of me, but I've enjoyed it. So if you have, click like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. And if you want to support the channel directly, please do so on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now and stay safe.